debate just 1 week from today. Joining us now is Indiana Governor Mike Pence, of course, the running mate for Donald Trump. Governor, thank you for being with us.
Great to be with you.
So you are known as a student. You are known as a studier and a worker. One of the criticisms for Donald Trump last night was he said he wasn't going to prepare, and he meant it, and it hurt him. Will you prepare differently than he did for your debate?
Well, first off, let me say I think it was a good debate, and I think Donald Trump had a great night. I think the American people saw in Donald Trump the kind of leadership and the kind of clarity and candor that's created the tremendous momentum in this campaign. He came right out of the box in that campaign and started talking about jobs, started talking about these disastrous trade deals that have literally cost millions of manufacturing jobs in places like Indiana and Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania. And I think it's that focus and that plain-spoken way that he has about him that generates the huge crowds I'm sure he'll see in Florida again today. And I think it's the reason why this campaign is on a roll. And I think his message last night compared to the scripted message of someone who's been in politics and around politics for the last 30 years was a dramatic contrast.
What do you think of the CNN poll overnight that had it 62-27 Clinton?
Well, I think we'll see lots of different polls on this, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time and a couple of days for it all to settle in. But I got to tell you, sitting on the front row last night with my wife at my side and watching this debate unfold, it was an extraordinary contrast. I mean, it really was a change versus the status quo. And Hillary Clinton, with that well-scripted presentation that she made, essentially said, if you like your status quo, you can keep it. Donald Trump came out with the candor, with the forcefulness. He took command of that stage. He answered the questions, and that in the contrast of kind of an avalanche of personal insults from Hillary Clinton that must have been designed to elicit something from Donald Trump that they believed to be there, but just simply isn't. He showed last night that he's got the leadership qualities and the temperament to be a great president of the United States.
Trade was a big subject for him. When you were in Congress, you supported deals like the TPP. In fact, the TPP itself, he says it's like the worst thing other than NAFTA ever. How do you wind up being on the same ticket if you believe in something that, by the way, Paul Ryan and your party's leadership very much in favor of as well? Trump says it's the worst thing, it's killing us.
Yeah, I support free trade. So does Donald Trump. TPP actually happened after I went back.
Right. But you support the concept of TPP, no?
Well, I think I wrote a letter just saying I'm broadly supportive of expanded trade, but then something happened in Indiana earlier this year. I got a phone call from a company called Carrier that said they were pulling up stakes and taking 1,400 good-paying jobs out of Indiana to Mexico. And when I asked them why, their first answer was, all of our competitors are already in Mexico. I mean, Donald Trump demonstrated last night the focus and, frankly, the foresight to recognize what a disastrous deal NAFTA has been. And I wholly agree with Donald Trump's view about TPP. Hillary Clinton did say, although the fact checkers cleared it up, Hillary Clinton did say that she thought the Trans-Pacific Partnership deal was the gold standard of trade deals. Now, she's changed her view of that. But Donald Trump and I both believe that what we ought to do is let's expand trade in the Asian-Pacific Rim, but let's do it one at a time with one country at a time so we can hold them accountable to the promises that they make. And I believe Donald Trump, he's got the right approach to trade, and first and foremost, it's about putting the American economy and the American worker first.
His big idea last night, there's no question he scored points on trade, is certainly where the American mind is right now. His idea with jobs, though, and in how to deal with that trade imbalance is, I'm going to stop the jobs from leaving in the first place, because if you do leave, we're going to basically have a VAT, a value-added tax, on anything that you want to bring back into the country. You know from your time in Congress that there is zero appetite for that kind of tax, which means you may say it, but you'll never do it as president. Fair criticism.
Well, but I think when he said we will stop companies from leaving in that little 2-minute window, he made some reference to the unfair trade arrangements between companies importing from Mexico and companies in the United States. But that's not our whole plan. Donald Trump, in that speech in Detroit, laid out an economic plan that different from Hillary Clinton, who wants to raise taxes by $1 trillion, increase regulation, expand Obamacare, continue the war on energy. Donald Trump laid out a plan to reduce taxes for working families, small businesses, and family farms, to lower corporate taxes in this country to 15%, to repeal all of the executive orders of this administration that are stifling jobs, to end the war on coal, and repeal Obamacare and replace it with the kind of health care reform that will lower the cost of health insurance instead of growing the size of government. Hard to get all of that in, but that's how we're going to keep companies from leaving. We're simply going to make America a better place to do business. And that's Donald Trump's vision.
Do you agree part of the plan is obviously to be full energy inclusive, rekindle the coal industry that's very upsetting to environmentalists, and Donald Trump has said that he doesn't believe in global warming. Do you share his feeling that it's a naturally occurring thing, that human beings have nothing to do with it, when the scientific community couldn't be more in favor of saying it's human created?
Well, that was part of the thing last night, that there was a reference to a humorous tweet that he put out a few years ago.
A lot of tweets, Governor.
Well,
a lot of tweets where he said that it's a hoax, it's perpetuated by China, look at it, it's cold again, so much for global warming. He evidently does not believe in it. Do you share that opinion?
Well, what Donald Trump said was a hoax, is that bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. can control the climate of the earth. And the reality is that this climate change agenda that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton want to continue to expand is killing jobs in this country. Look, we can develop all the resources of this country. We can end the war on coal and continue to develop clean coal technology. We have one of the most advanced coal-burning plants in the United States of America.
But doesn't it matter to the American voter whether or not the person who's going to be president of the United States and vice president of the United States believe that global warming is man-made?
Well, look, there's no question that the activities that take place in this country and in countries around the world have some impact on the environment and some impact on climate. But Donald Trump and I say, let's follow the science, but for heaven's sakes, let's not go rushing into the kind of restrictions on our economy that are putting Americans out of work and, frankly, are driving jobs out of this country. I thought that's why Donald Trump had a great night last night, is that while Hillary Clinton came forward with that well-scripted presentation, 30 years in public life, what you heard from Hillary Clinton was more of the same. More taxes, more regulation, more of the war on American energy, more of the kind of agenda that's really stifled American jobs and driven jobs out of this country. And you saw in Donald Trump someone who's ready to take command of this economy, to lower taxes, to grow our economy through the time-honored principles that worked under the years of Ronald Reagan and, frankly, during the years of President John F. Kennedy.
Governor Pence, thank you for being with us. We look forward to your debate next week. Always good to have you on New Day.
Thank you.
Allison?
Chris, we heard what the candidates had to say, but what does their body language